Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here, and welcome to the first part of our deep dive into the world of Four Against Darkness, a solitaire dungeon delving pen and paper game. This is basically it's kind of a more complex roll and write style game. It is a solo game where you are rolling dice, you are looking up the numbers on certain charts, creating dungeons, creating a party of adventurers, taking that party of adventurers into those dungeons, hoping they survive so that you can get some new loot, so you can level up, get some new abilities, get stronger, in order to dive deeper into more dangerous dungeons. That is Four Against Darkness in a nutshell. Now, I've decided to do a deep dive into this game where we're going to be looking in detail at every supplement I can get my hands on, and that includes the officially released stuff. And of course, the game was created and mostly written by Andrea Sfiloggioi. I'm super sorry, Andrea. Please help me pronounce your last name. Maybe I need to check Google and see if I can have Google read it for me. But it was mainly written and created, and a lot of the art is done by Andrea. And one thing we are going to be taking a look at is some of the art, because it is one thing that I think a lot of people overlook, is just how actually good some of the art is in the books. And some of the art, of course, is done by Andrea, like I said, and some of the other art is done by Heather Shin and J.M. Woyak of the Stinky Goblin. And then we have some art also by Jack Badashki. So we will be looking at the art and the artist as we go through the series. But we're going to be taking a look at all the supplements that I can get my hands on. The official supplements mainly, but also some of the fan-made supplements, because there is a lot of stuff for this game. And one of the fan-made supplements that I am most looking forward to looking at and diving into is the Overland Adventures by Lowell Foster, with art by his daughter, who was in 6th grade. Some pretty neat little crayon and pencil drawings there. A childish rendition of a beholder. I really like that. But this Overland's supplement seems really cool. And we're going to be taking a detailed look at each book. I will probably do 1 or 2 books per video, depending on the depth that we look at it. And some of these supplements are rather short. A few of them are like 10 pages long. Some of them are longer, closer to 100 pages long. But this first video here is just going to be kind of an introduction to the series. And we're going to be taking a look at all the things that I have, all the things that I'm planning on doing videos for. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions for some of the things I don't have. Maybe if you could help me prioritize, or if you could also make suggestions of really high quality fan-made stuff that isn't officially available through Ganesha Games. So Ganesha Games is the company, I think that is Andrea's company, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, somebody please correct me. But his company puts out a lot of really neat kind of DIY style, indie style games in this vein. So this video is not going to be an overview of the Four Against Darkness game yet. The next video, the official part 1, will kick off with a review of the base game. But this video is just going to kind of act as a roadmap for what we are going to be doing. And as you can see here, I have a game in progress. I'm almost done with this game with my initial 4 heroes here. I have Sante, a male monk, Mork, a male barbarian, Mara, a female cleric, and Jaro, a male rogue. And we are just going through the base game right now with the base dungeon setup. And here I have a printout for a cheat sheet for all the different dungeon rooms, a printout of a cheat sheet for kind of the flow chart of the game, makes things really easy. And I am using some myth miniatures for my to represent my heroes on their marching order here, because they just kind of worked out perfectly to match the party that I am playing. So we will go into more depth and more detail about what this game actually is, and my thoughts and criticisms and praises for the initial game in the next video. But like I said, this video here is just going to be kind of a roadmap, and we're going to be just kind of planning out what we're going to be looking at. So there is a catalog. Ganesha Games has a catalog of all of their products, and I went ahead and printed out all of the stuff they have listed for Against Darkness as of I believe it was as of December 2020. One thing to keep in mind is if you are looking to get into this game, be aware that there is going to be a revised second edition that's going to be coming out this year in 2021. And I think I do recommend waiting for that second edition, at least before you invest the money maybe in a printed book. Maybe just buy the PDF now. We'll get more into that when we actually review Against Darkness in the next video. But the supplements that I have that we are going to be for sure taking a look at during this long video series is, of course, the base game, Against Darkness. We will be taking a look at Fiendish Foes. Fiendish Foes is a collection of tables that you could roll on for minions and things to fight for when your characters get to levels 3 to 5. We're going to be taking a look at Caves of the Kobold Slave Masters. This is a solitaire adventure for a party of levels 1 to 2 characters. We will be taking a look at Caverns of Chaos. This is tables and missions for Against Darkness for characters levels 3 to 6. Wayfarers and Adventurers, new classes and options for Against Darkness. I think this is probably going to be one of the most interesting expansions we look at, because it adds some very interesting elements to add a little bit more of an RPG flavor to your games, kind of making the characters more interesting. Against the Abyss. So this is kind of advanced Against Darkness, because this takes your characters from levels 5 to 9 and adds a lot more options. Concise collection of classes. This is new classes and character options. Against the Netherworld. This is another supplement for higher level characters, levels 6 through 9. Lairs, Dens, and Burrows. These are short adventures for Against Darkness for any character level. This is really interesting. These little adventures, a lot of them you don't even really go through dungeons. You just have little adventures that you use charts to accomplish, so you can kind of set up and play a game within 30 or 40 minutes or something. Pretty cool. Dark Waters. This is a solitaire adventure for a party of characters levels 1 and 2. The Knight of Destiny, an Arthurian quest for the Grail for Against Darkness. The Three Rings is an adventure for a party of characters levels 3 and 4. The Breachers of Bone Belfry, which I have talked about this before. And this is by Eric N. Bouchard and Andrea. And this is a horror adventure for Against Darkness for dead characters of any level. So we need to have some characters die before we actually tackle this supplement there. Fortress of the Warlord, I did just order based off of some recommendations. This sounds really cool. It's a big campaign, 148 pages. And this is a classic fantasy campaign for heroes levels 4 up. This sounds really neat. Sounds like a big epic fantasy. And then I also just ordered Digressions of the Devouring Dead, a necromantic dungeon for Against Darkness for characters of any level. This sounds very cool too. Twisted Minions is a neat little supplement that you can use with any of the other supplements, and it adds twists and turns to your minions, making them adding some variety, because that is one place where the game is a little light on variety, is in the things that you encounter and fight. Now, I know that Andrea is working on a large bestiary for the game that's going to have all kinds of charts to roll on, and I believe he's working on that for a release this year, and that's going to be highly sought after, I believe. Twisted Dungeons, like Twisted Minions, except for this adds elements of surprise and wrinkles into the dungeons that you are going to be going into. The Dreadful Dozen is 12 detailed foes for 4 Against Darkness for characters of all levels. These are some more in-depth characters, like some boss characters that have some background and some different abilities that you can face off against. So those are all of the things that I have now or have on order now. The rest of these items are things that I do not have. So as we take a look through these, and if you have them, please let me know in the comments which ones you suggest I prioritize. And depending on which ones get the most votes or the most recommendations, the most mentions, I will prioritize those and put these in some kind of an order based on how I'm going to purchase them. So we have Warlike Woes. It's a supplement for characters 2 and up. This features a host of new monsters, potions, reactions, rules for gambling, new equipment, herbal remedies, a sample dungeon, and new room shapes. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool. I might want to prioritize that one. Maneater is an adventure for characters levels 3 through 5. I don't really know anything about that one. Buried Secrets is definitely one that I'm going to prioritize just based off of my own likes, because this is a solo adventure for a single cleric to take a cleric through an adventure. I really like that idea of a one character going through a dungeon in 4 Against Darkness. That sounds really cool. The Crucible of Classic Critters. This is a woodland dungeons for 4 Against Darkness for characters levels 4 and up. We have the Courtship of the Flower Demons, another supplement for characters of any level. The Heart of the Lizard. Now this is a novella that also includes some gameplay elements. Let me know if you've read the novella and if you recommend it. Tournament of the Undead Viscount. This has rules for generating opponents and running a fighting tournament. Kind of interesting there. Treasure Hunters of Charlemagne. Greedy Gifts of the Guildmasters. Patrons and adventures for parties of all levels. Ordeal of the Magic Tower. Now this is one that I mentioned that I thought I had on order, but I can't find proof of that. I was expecting this to come, so I think I might have forgotten to actually order this. But this one also sounds interesting in that you are taking basically a group of 0-level wizards into this kind of apprentice training tower, where once they make it through the tower, then they become level 1 characters or something like that. It's almost like a funnel adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics or something like that. That sounds pretty interesting. So I think I'm also going to be prioritizing that one. Let me know if you've played through it and if you think I'm making the right choice to prioritize that. More Mountain Mayhem, Crag Adventures and Classes for 4 Against Darkness for characters levels 4 and up. Labyrinth of the Lurking Lepidatria, or something like that. A Cavern Escort adventure. The escort word there kind of throws me off of that one. Let me know if you've played this and if the escort part of the game is really strict, because escort missions are not always my favorite. And then finally, this one sounds interesting because it's kind of a like Midsummer's Night Dream. It's a comedic and ribald and risque town adventure called Kingly Knights and Knifing Knaves. This sounds like it might be a little more mature or something like that. Again, let me know if you played that. This has adult humor, 18 and up. So as of right now, I believe as of 2020, December 2020, those are all of the official supplements released for the game. And I know there are a huge number of fan-made supplements. So like I said earlier, please recommend me some that you think are really good. I don't want just like some pretty good ones. I want the cream of the crop. And I know there are a lot of fans of 4 Against Darkness out there. But when we look at the base game coming up in the next video, I'm not going to make the assumption that everybody knows what the game is. We will start from like ground zero knowledge of this game. Because just because I'm late coming to it, or I'm late making videos on it, I've had the game for quite a few years. but there are already so many videos on YouTube. I was wondering if, if adding my opinion to the sea of opinions on For Against Darkness is really going to add anything to the discussion. But hopefully I can think of some interesting things to talk about and to discuss, and hopefully people find what I have to say about For Against Darkness valuable. And one of the things I am going to do is taking a closer look at the art and mentioning the really good art that is in the game, because that is one thing that I just don't see a lot of people talking about, and I'm often surprised by how good some of the drawings are in the game. And even the ones that aren't so great, they still have this really nice kind of DIY old school charm to them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this really broad overview, kind of a roadmap of the things we're going to be looking at. And one of the things I just want to say real quickly about this game, why I think it is the perfect game for me right now, is if you guys have watched my last video, know things are pretty stressful in my life right now, just really busy with work, and I did actually end up, my group did get called to jury duty, so I do actually have to go in starting tomorrow. I was really hoping my group would not get actually called, not needed, but I am needed. So there's just a lot of things going on, and I'm having a really hard time focusing on really complex games with lots of moving pieces and components. And For Against Darkness is kind of just the perfect remedy for that kind of mindset, for that level of stress. It's a pretty simple game, but it's one that you can add enough little elements, enough little modular pieces to make kind of as complex as you want to. And it's a kind of a relaxing game because of its roll and write nature. I find myself, when I'm playing For Against Darkness, to just kind of mellow out and really enjoy my time with the game. And it piques my imagination. It makes me, it forces me to use my imagination to escape from a world of stress and work into this game. It's a game that is very easy to get lost into. And you get into this rhythm while you are playing that really helps to create that feeling of ease and of joy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series. It is going to be a long series, kind of like my Shadows of Brimstone series and my Warhammer Quest series. One of the reasons why it's going to be longer, it's just I'm not going to be able to do multiple videos a week for a while. So we're going to be moving through this game for probably a couple months. So I hope you guys enjoy it because this is what I'm going to be focusing on for the time being. So all right, guys, well, take it easy. And we'll see you soon, and the next video will be a detailed look and review of just the base game For Against Darkness. Talk to you later. Bye bye.